In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create and manage workflows using AI assistance, specifically using ChatGPT. Let's go to ChatGPT. This, by the way, this is our app homepage. And to connect an AI assistant or ChatGPT to our app, we will use our app's MCP server. And to do that, we go to ChatGPT and click Apps and Settings. And to connect our MCP, we need to activate the developer mode. And we click Create App. We give a name to our connector, JsWorkflows. And we need to add an MCP server URL. To get that, we go back to the app and go to the settings page. Scroll down to the AI Assistance Integration section and click the ChatGPT setup. Here we'll find the MCP server URL. Copy that and add here and create. This will open the authentication page, and on that page we will add the authentication code. So we go back to our app and create a one-time authentication code. And we copy that code and paste it here and grant access. Here now it shows that our MCP server is connected, and it has a list of tools. And for example, this tool deletes workflows, and this one deploy a workflow, and so on. To create workflows or manage workflows, it's also recommended to use Shopify AI toolkit. The reason is the Shopify AI toolkit enables us to check graphical schemas correctly. If you don't have the Shopify AI toolkit, ChatGPT will use its own knowledge or memory to create graphical schemas. So it's likely sometimes makes errors. To avoid that, it's recommended to use Shopify AI toolkit. To do that, we go back to apps and search Shopify. So this is the Shopify AI toolkit. And then we connect to our store. So this opens to a list of our stores. So the first store is the one that we are using to test. So now it's connected. So you can see it has a list of tools. Here it's listed. So let's go to create a new chat. And see if all the tools are connected. Here we can see Shopify is connected and JsWorkflows also connected. Okay, the first thing to test is to see if ChatGPT can list our workflows. So we can ask list our workflows. So it should connect to our MCP server and list the live workflows. Now it's already figured out. We are asking about JsWorkflows. Now it listed all the workflows we have in that store. So it listed 4 workflows. 2 of them are active and the other two are inactive. Let's double check if it's correct. Go back to homepage. And here we have 4 workflows, and 2 of them are active and the other 2 are inactive. So ChatGPT correctly pulled the workflows. So let's create a simple workflow and see how ChatGPT creates a workflow for us. And the workflow is create a workflow that runs daily at 10 a.m. and the workflow reads the first 10 orders and send internal notification email with summary. So let's see how ChatGPT figures out and creates a workflow for us. So it's saying I will create a schedule inactive workflow that and then validate it and then deploy the draft so the daily 10 a.m. trigger is registered. Now it's calling tools. Is calling tools to, for example, to check the correct built-in API to use. For example, for sending a notification email, it should use the send email built-in API. So to do that, it needs to access the tools. Yes, here it found that API, and also it understood the schedule schema that needs to be used. So the tool that it called first was to it asked our tool or our MCP with this query, and next it uses now Shopify's validate graphical codebox tool to validate the graphical schema that it created. So this why, as mentioned before, this why we need to have the Shopify API, AI toolkit. So ChatGPT will not create its own graphical schema. Now in this tool, it called our MCP to double check the access scopes required for the making that Shopify API request. So for this workflow, it only needs the read order scope. So our tool returned that. Here it's validating the workflow code that it has created, and our validate workflow tool codes one error that's detailed here. So ChatGPT will attempt to correct its code based on this the validation feedback. Now in the second validation, you can see there is no error, and it's the code that it generated is true, it's valid. So next it will go to the saving and deploying tools. Now as you can see, it's saving, and before saving, it's prompting us to after saving the draft, it's prompting us to allow us to deploy the workflow, and we allow it. Now it's deploying the workflow as an inactive workflow. Now it has finished creating the workflow and deploying it. The workflow name is this, daily recent order summary email, and the ID is this, the status inactive, because we need to verify it's working or test it before activating it. So that's why ChatGPT always creates a workflow that's the status inactive. So it's scheduled daily 10 a.m. ChatGPT also figured out we are located in Melbourne, so it uses the correct time zone. That's also one very important detail. And it starts tomorrow on the 26th of May. So let's see if it's already created. Back to our app and refresh. So we can see the fifth newly created workflow here. It has a matching name as what ChatGPT created. And let's open this and see the setting. The time zone is Melbourne, Australia, that's true. And it starts on the 26th of May, tomorrow. And the time is 10 a.m. And it runs every one day, daily. And it has no conditions, so it runs forever until we stop or remove this workflow. And also it had ChatGPT added a description of what this workflow does here. And let's open the code. And this is the code that ChatGPT has created. It has created the graphical query schema here. This is what it uses Shopify AI toolkit to validate if it is correct or not. And it has all the correct structure of our workflow. And it has start with start, and the next step is send the daily order summary. So before activating this, we need to test it. To do that, click more actions and run test. So we expect to see two steps. The first start step, and the next one is the send daily order summary step. So that's after 10 seconds. Yep, after 10 seconds, now it's executed the second step. So shortly we should expect receive email. We have received the email, and the email lists the 4 orders, order 001, 02, 03, and 04. So it works. So it's ChatGPT correctly generated a workflow that access the new open 10 orders and send us a notification email from this email address. So let's see if the orders are correct. 4 orders are correct, and back to orders, and we can see there are 4 orders that are unfulfilled, and their name is also correct, 0101, 02, 04. So that means ChatGPT just created workflow for us. The next thing that after verifying is to activate it by clicking turn on. So this will run every day at 10 a.m. and send us a notification email with summary of the orders. So yeah, this is basically what we can use AI assistants to create and manage workflows. We can also use cloud or other CLI tools like Codex or Cloud Code.